I Have a Dream speech and the second anniversary of Barack Hussein Obama's first African-American president of the United States of America.
I thought it was extremely important for our students to be able to visit the Martin Luther King Memorial. It has not officially opened yet. It will officially open on October the 16th. But what a wonderful experience to be a part of history.
Yes.
This memorial dedicated to a man that believed in peace and justice and had lived his life forging those precepts. And so what better opportunity for our students to jointly be able to venture here to the Capitol.
Today, I'm interviewing Rafaela Howe, a University of Akron student, on her trip to Washington, D.C. Rafaela, how did you come to find out about the trip to Washington, D.C.?
Through my passage class, our student success seminar class. I was supposed to write an essay on why I felt that I wanted to go on this trip.
Okay. And how did you find out whether or not you were selected?
Through an email.
And this email is through?
The Office of Multicultural Development.
Okay. And speaking of that, so you are a University of Akron student, and what is your field of study? Biology
pre-med. I hope someone to attend medical school and become a pediatrician.
Okay. And is there anything else that you're involved in with that program?
I am currently in a program called STEM. It's for science, technology, engineering, medical, and mathematics majors.
All right. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience with the trip to Washington, D.C. How did it go for you? Tell me.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
How do I feel? I felt great about it. I got to visit the memorial of one of my greatest idols.
Hold on. We want to start from the beginning.
Oh, gosh, that was great, Harry.
Yeah, okay.
What she said was wonderful.
From the greatest idols, but let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the selection period to once you got on the bus. You know, how did it all get to that point where you got to meet one of your greatest? I'm talking about the remedial stuff, you know, from the boring to the most exciting.
Okay, well, I boarded the bus around 10:30 p.m. on September 30th. We took attendance, and then we left for Washington, D.C. at 11 p.m.
And how was that trip?
On the bus, it was fine. We were provided snacks, and I talked to some of my friends on the bus, and then I went to sleep.
Okay. And when you woke up,
around, I'd say, 6 a.m. in the morning, we went to Maryland for a breakfast at a restaurant called Cracker Barrel.
How was that?
It was very interesting. I loved the food. The syrup bottles, they were very tiny. They were very interesting, but I still loved it. It was a great experience.
And so after you freshened up and ate breakfast, and what happened then?
We boarded the bus, and then we left to go to Washington, D.C.
And what were the sights and sounds like on that way entering Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C., the bus was quiet at times, and then it was a little noisy because everyone was excited to see the monument. And as I looked outside my window, I could see buildings and statues. It was very nice.
Have you ever been to Washington before?
No, it was my first time.
Have you ever been anywhere outside of your hometown? Are you from Akron?
I'm from Akron, Ohio.
Have you traveled before?
Yes, I have.
Anything like Washington, D.C.?
No. I traveled to New York before, but that was for a band competition.
Okay. In comparison, how would the band competition to the trip to historic trip?
New York, it was fun, but I was there for a competition. I had to work. I had to compete. But Washington was different. I got the chance to relax and enjoy myself.
And in doing so, what did you learn?
I learned more about Martin Luther King Jr.
And that was your
idol.
And tell me more about that.
Okay. This man went through so much to try to help better the lives of our generation, mine thereof, and ours, and my generation after that. This man, I love this man because he practiced agape love. He wanted everyone to treat everybody with respect through nonviolence. And I love that because in today's society, many people feel that they have to use violence to get their point across, which isn't true. So that's one of my favorite things about him.
And so when you got to the Martin Luther King Monument and you walked through the Mountain of Despair onto the plaza, tell me what your thoughts, your feelings were.
I was proud to be in his presence. It was a very proud moment for me. As I looked up at him, the emotion, it was just rewarding.
And so did you know who the monument was across the Potomac Basin?
Jefferson.
Okay. Do you know who Thomas Jefferson is?
Yes, I do.
Who is he?
He was a president of the United States, and he wanted equality too.
Wow. So, and after you left that monument in Washington, what other experiences did you have up there? Were there other places that you visited that you enjoyed?
I visited the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
And to see President Abraham Lincoln sitting in that big statue, it was wonderful. And there were words on the walls, 4 scores years ago. It was just a wonderful presence because he wanted to make slaves free too, and it was just wonderful.
Rafaela, how old are you?
18 years old.
And how much history do you know about America, the American history experience?
I'd say I know a little bit, but there's so much more to learn. I mean, you can never learn enough.
Yes, and if you had a word of advice to your fellow students and Americans, what would that be?
I'd say to go out and really know your history. Learn more about your history before you start judging others, and to really be connected.
Okay. So after you left Washington, what was the experience then? On the way home?
On the way home. Well, then we stopped at Cracker Barrel again, and we had dinner, which was pleasant. And then we boarded the bus back to Akron, Ohio.
And on the way home, what was that like? That trip home after that impact?
I had a good sleep. It was really nice. I felt that I had accomplished something, learning more about my history, about where I came from, how I got the freedom that I have today.
Thank you. You know what, Rafaela? There's a trip coming back up in the spring. And if you are so inclined and included, would you be willing to go back again?
Yes, I would.
I want to thank you today for your interview. It's very unusual for young people to know as much and be as excited as you are about that. And I want you to keep the faith and keep looking up and continue your studies, do well. And I'm hoping to see you again. This is Howard Carter, Akronist.